Welcome back to another episode of Mr. Rocks. In this episode of our tower defense game, we are going to add some things to the tiles. If I run the program right now, notice that what I'll end up getting is I will get inside my play area, I will get three different areas. And actually, even before I get there, I should go into my main menu area. And this either is running really slowly or not running at all. Let me try one more time. And it does not appear to be running. Wow, it took a long time. In any case, this is the main menu, and I have my three buttons here, three button states. If I click on the top button, I'm going to come in here. I am still in the process of changing this picture for the background, but notice that I have dragons on my buttons. My buttons are evenly spaced. The buttons have three states. If I hover over them, they turn color. If I press on them, they turn color again. And I have on each of the drawings a dragon. This tower defense game is going to be made up of dragons that I'm going to place along the path, and the little peasant people are going to be trying to run along this path and get into the safety of the castle, and the dragons are going to try to burn them to death. In any case, we're going to, this doesn't sound very nice, but in any case, this is what we have so far. Notice I've added a couple of things. This is the list, and a list in Java is a little bit like an array, except it can vary in length. And so this is going to be a list of images. It's going to be much like an array of images, but I'm going to use this method, or this guy called for image cache. I'm going to use the method get sequential images. And it's going to look inside this folder tiles, and it's going to get D1 through D5, each with the extension PNG. Notice this part is a string, and this part in here is a string, and that's going to be what's common to each of the 5 images that I have. But over here I've got D1, D2 through D5, and this is going to look inside the cache, find those 5 images, and it's going to load them in this array. One of the things that you should notice is that up here, the Java util list is what I have to import to make that work, and for some reason for me it didn't happen automatically. I had to actually write that in directly, but in any case, this is my list of icons that I'm going to place on each of the buttons. Since I'm in the menu area and I'm placing the tiles in the menu area, what I need to do is I need to pass each of these to the tile. So everything in here is pretty much the same, except I've changed my tile class to accept a parameter, and I'm going to send it from tile images, which is my 5 dragon icons. It's a list of 5 dragon icons. I'm going to go in there and I use the keyword get, or the get method, and then this guy is going to vary, remember, from 1 to 5, or from 0 to 5, 0 to 4 actually. So back up here in my for loop, I have I started at 0. It's going to go to 4, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different values, and I send each of these I values into set tile. In the method set tile, I receive I. The first time this guy is going to be 0, and so when I say tile t equals new tile, I'm going to get, this is the first element in my list, which is element 0, so tile images.get0 is going to give me the first of the 5 images. It's actually going to be this image right here, which is this little pink dragon. Okay, so moving on, everything else is the same. Now if I look over here in tile, notice that I had to set this up as well. The type of parameter is image, and that's from the AWT image. And then I receive this guy simply as image with a lowercase I. 8080 refers to the size of my tile, and so these tiles will be set. I set each one with its own PNG. So I've got, for instance, tile hover, tile none, and tile pressed. Okay, so those are my 3 buttons, and again, those are just little simple glass buttons I made in Illustrator. Very easy to make, and those are my 3 states. So then I set state sprite button none is equal to, this guy was, this is associated with tile none, so now the button state none is associated with that image. So I go image to this, I guess variable, I put that variable and I associate button state none, button state hovered, and button state pressed get associated with these three PNGs via these guys in the middle. At this point, I'm going to say gsprite T icon. That's my turret icon. That's the image that I want to go on the button. And so notice each time I call this guy from my for loop, I'm going to get the turret icon 0, then 1, then 2, then 3 each time I call this, and so I get a different image here, and that's going to get set on the center of the icon. So when I run this, and I simply hit Control F11 to run the program, and it comes up, and I have this dragon, they each appear on the tile, and the tile has that 3 states. And so that's what we're going to do to start that off. The next big chunk is going to be when I click on this dragon, I'm going to want the dragon to appear here in the middle. And that is going to be a little bit more difficult, and that's going to take some time. So hang on for that. Okay, in the next step, we're going to have to make a turret when I click on the button. So right now, if I click on the buttons are changing states, and I have different dragon icons appear on the buttons. However, I want to make a distinction. I changed the background again because for right now, it's just going to be a lot simpler if we do overhead views of dragons. In other words, if I come into my tiles and I see that I've got a side view of the pink dragon, what I want to do is when I click on this button, or the button with that icon on it rather, I would like to have a turret appear. And the turret's not going to be a side view because the turret has to rotate 360 degrees. So in this version of the game, we're going to go ahead and put the dragon from the top view, which means the entire map had to be changed into a top view. And so if I run the program, I'm going to see the map changed again. I just grabbed a map from a game called Balloons. So this is from one of the levels of Balloons 5, I think. But anyway, I'm going to change this so that when I click on the pink dragon, I will get an overhead view of the pink dragon appear on the background map. Later on, I would like to change it so that I have that kind of side view map, but then I'm going to have to do a lot more turrets so that as the turret rotates, he's actually changing. I'm going to have to pack all those turrets into an array and animate it as he turns 360 degrees. But we're not going to worry about that right now. Instead, from the menu area, I know that I am loading my tile images. I've got 5 images that are getting loaded onto the tiles. When I create a new tile T, it says tile. I'm sending it a particular image from that array, and now if I go over to my tiles, I see that I'm accepting as a parameter an image, and then I'm just setting up the button states. What I need to do right now is add this little bit of code, which is a listener. So I'm going to add a listener, and it's going to be a new button listener, and this will put this code in for me. If I just simply add the new listener and hit enter, this code will appear, and public void mouse clicked is what I'm listening for. So the button listener is listening for a mouse clicked. I have other possibilities besides mouse clicked here that I could choose, but basically when I click on the mouse, or when I click the mouse on the button listener will hear that, and I will do this. And this is get first ancestor of TG. So this is sort of the complicated part of this. Eventually we're going to get this so that if I click on any of the 5 buttons, I'll get the particular turret I want, but right now I'm going to set it up so that when I click on any of the buttons, I'm just going to get a turret 1. What get first ancestor of does is it looks for the first ancestor of, or the first instance of TG level 1 view, if that's an ancestor of what I'm in right now. So right now I'm in the tile class, and so if a particular instance of this class get the first ancestor of, that means that the tile is placed not directly into the TG level 1 view, but remember the tile is placed on the menu area. The menu area is placed in the game view, this TG level 1 view, and so it's basically the parent of a parent. That's why I'm using get first ancestor. And this is going to give me the first, actually the only instance of TG level 1 game view. I've only got one, but it'll give me the first instance, which happens to be the same as the only one. In any case, this basically is going to boil down to TG level 1 view. And if I have this particular method inside that view, I'm in good shape. Currently I don't, so I'm going to put that in right now. I'm going to add this as a method, and so I will simply add this as, let's say, public void, and it's going to be initialize turret. And so this guy is going to not take in a parameter yet. It will in a little bit, but for right now I'll set that guy up as such. So what do I want to do here? When I initialize the turret, the first thing I have to do is create a turret. So I'm going to say turret 1, and I will say T1 equals, and I have to use the keyword new to instantiate turret 1, and turret 1 is going to take in an image, and so I will use something from the image cache. So I'll say image cache, and I will use the method getImage, and the image that I'm going to get is going to be from my cache. And so the method, I've already got my cache set up, so I've got a folder called turrets. I can see that over here. So I've got tiles, here's my turrets, and so I'm going to send in DT1 is going to be my turret. This needs to be a string, by the way, so this is a folder, so then I go ahead and say DT1 dot PNG, and that's going to grab that image for me right there. Okay, good. So it looks like I've got that set up. The next thing I need to do is simply add this. And so to add this, I want to say, I'm going to say this, which if we look up here, this is my TG level 1 view, but I don't want to add it to this. What I want to add it to is this play area. So I'm going to add it to my play area, so I can grab that guy and put it right here. And to add it to the play area, the simplest way perhaps is to say add at center. And so if I come down here and say add at center, and what am I going to add? I'm going to add turret 1. Alright, that looks like that's fine. Now the red lines are because I do not yet have this class. So I'm going to create class turret 1, and this guy is going to extend turret. But I don't have turret made. So first of all, I'm going to go back and I'm going to make my turret class. So I'll say, let's say new class, and the class that I'm going to create is my turret class. And it's important that this class is an abstract class, so I want to click that. That means I'll never be able to create an instance of my turret, but I'm going to put code in there that will be common to all of my other turrets. All of my turrets, turrets 1 through 5, are going to extend this class. So I'll put the code that's common to all of these in here. I don't need my main. Let's see. So I've got that set up, and I want to extend. This guy is just going to extend GSprite. So that's all I need to do. So now I've got this class is set up. Make sure that I set up the constructor, and I'm going to call the let's see, I need to call the super. So the super is going to be GSprite, and I'm going to send him the parameter I for image. So I'll just call this image, and I'm going to accept an image as a parameter. So let's just accept that. Now, since this guy, whenever I create a turret, it's going to accept a turret. Make sure you import that, and that guy's good to go. So let's format that, Control-Shift-F, and at this point, if I save him, I'm ready to create turret 1. So coming back here to my game view, I see turret 1. It says create class turret 1. I'll say OK. This is not going to be abstract, but what I will do in this case is I'm going to browse for what I want to extend, and what I want to extend is my turret class. So my turret class is abstract. This is not abstract, and so I can create an instance of this turret. And so turret1, did I misspell that? That's not good. Let's redo that. And let's come back here. I just simply didn't add turret1. Okay, so that's at least spelled correctly. Now let's try this again. So I'm going to come over here and I'll say create class turret1. Again, I need to come in and browse for my superclass, which is going to be turret. And I'll say OK and say finish. And so now this guy is good to go. Control space to create my default constructor. And again, for turret1 will also accept in an image as a parameter. So I'll just say image with a capital I for the type, and then image is going to be my local instance. Again, if I import image, that will be fine. And I would like to set up my super as it's going to receive an image. So this is going to be image. Ooh, no, I take that back. I just send in the that guy. So let's go ahead and format him, and that should be okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, one more time. All right, there it is. Okay, so now I've got my turret1, which is extending turret. Turret is extending GSprite. So now over here, when I say, okay, I'm going to create a new instance of this turret. I'm going to collect its image. I'm going to send it to turret1. Turret1 it sends it to its super, which is turret. Turret sends it to its super, which is GSprite. Don't have to worry about that. And now, if I were to click, let's see if this works. If I were to click on, it says I've got some kind of a problem. Okay, that's strange. Well, that's not what it's supposed to look like. So let's go back and see what my problem is. Okay, I don't know what the problem was. It turns out that if I run the program now and say proceed, it just goes ahead and does fine. So let's see if it does it now. Okay, so I click on this, and there it is. And if I click on the pink dragon, I get a pink dragon. If I click on any of these dragons, I'm going to get a pink dragon ending up right in the same spot. And so that's it for this lesson. Bye-bye.